So now we are discussing the Maxwell's equations. These equations are also called Maxwell's equations of electromagnetism. The other title is Maxwell's equations of electromagnetism. These equations are the collection of the basic theories and basic equations which were taught in electrostatics and magnetostatics up to now. So what are those equations? These equations explains the connectivity between the electric fields and magnetic fields. The first one is surface integral E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. But this equation is Gauss law in electrostatics. The Maxwell యొక్క ఫస్ట్ ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నెటిక్ ఈక్వేషన్, దీన్ని గాస్ లా ఇన్ ఎలక్ట్రోస్టాటిక్స్ అని కూడా అంటారు. What is the statement given for this equation? It states that the electric flux over a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by the surface. The electric flux over a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by the surface. This is Maxwell's first equation in electromagnetism. Second one, surface integral B dot ds is equal to 0. This is also called Gauss law in magnetism or magnetostatics. ఇక్కడ సెకండ్ ఈక్వేషన్ వచ్చి సర్ఫేస్ ఇంటిగ్రల్ B dot ds is equal to 0. దీన్ని గాస్ లా ఇన్ మ్యాగ్నెటిజం అని కూడా అంటారు. So Gauss law in magnetism. What is the statement given for this equation? It states that the magnetic flux over a closed surface is 0. The magnetic flux over a closed surface is 0 because E and B are perpendicular to each other. That's why along the surface it is q by epsilon naught times the electric flux, but magnetic flux is 0. Two more equations are also there. The third equation is integral over E dot dl is equal to minus d phi b by dt. This is Faraday's law in electromagnetism or Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, which was discussed just earlier before this lesson. What is the statement? The electric flux over a closed surface or over a closed loop is equal to rate of change in magnetic flux in the same loop. So the electric flux or field, we can write like this: electric field or flux over a closed loop or along any arbitrary path is equal to the rate of change in magnetic flux over the arbitrary path. దీన్ని ఫారడేస్ లా ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నెటిక్ ఇండక్షన్ ఈక్వేషన్ అంటారు. దీని స్టేట్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే ఒక ఎలక్ట్రిక్ ఫీల్డ్ ఓవర్ ఏ ఆర్బిటరీ సర్ఫేస్ ఈక్వల్గా దేనికి ఈక్వల్గా ఉంటుందంటే రేట్ ఆఫ్ చేంజ్ ఇన్ మ్యాగ్నెటిక్ ఫ్లక్స్కి ఈక్వల్గా ఉంటుంది, బట్ ఇన్ ఆపోజిట్ డైరెక్షన్. లాస్ట్ ఈక్వేషన్ ఇన్ ద మ్యాక్స్వెల్స్ పార్ట్ ఈజ్ ఇంటిగ్రల్ b dot dl is equal to mu naught into IC plus epsilon naught into d phi e by dt. This is the modified or corrected form of the Ampere's law. So what is the statement? The magnetic field or flux over an arbitrary surface is equal to the mu naught times the conduction current and displacement current total. సో mu naught times the sum of conduction current and displacement current. ఏదైనా ఒక ఆర్బిటరీ సర్ఫేస్ మీద మ్యాగ్నెటిక్ ఫ్లక్స్ ఎంత ఉంటుందంటే కండక్షన్ కరెంటు మరియు డిస్ప్లేస్మెంట్ కరెంట్ యొక్క మొత్తానికి mu naught టైమ్స్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్గా ఉంటుంది. దిస్ ఈజ్ మోడిఫైడ్ ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ Ampere's law. So the magnetic field or magnetic flux over a closed loop or any arbitrary surface is equal to mu naught times the sum of conduction current and displacement current. And displacement current. So these four equations are said to be Maxwell's electromagnetic equations. What is the importance of these equations? So what are the importances or how it is important to use the Maxwell's equations? Maxwell equations can solve any problem in the electromagnetism. That means if you want to solve any problem or any situation in the electromagnetism, we should use the Maxwell's equation similar to the Newton's laws in mechanics. So based on these equations, we can say the easiest or we can choose the easiest path to solve the numericals in the electromagnetism. And at the same time, by using these equations, four more important points were derived. What are those important points? The first point is an accelerated charge is the source of electromagnetic waves. The accelerated charge is the source of electromagnetic wave. త్వరణంతో మూవ్ అవుతున్న ఒక ఛార్జ్ ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నెటిక్ వేవ్కి సోర్స్ లాగా యాక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. అది మ్యాక్స్వెల్ ఈక్వేషన్ యొక్క ఫస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్. సెకండ్ వన్, దీస్ ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నెటిక్ వేవ్స్ moves in vacuum or travel through vacuum also with speed nearly equal to the light. The electromagnetic waves can travel through vacuum with a velocity nearly equal to velocity of light. How much is the velocity of light? 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నెటిక్ వేవ్స్ వ్యాక్యూమ్లో కూడా ట్రావెల్ చేయగలవు. ఎంత వెలాసిటీతో ట్రావెల్ చేస్తాయంటే లైట్ యొక్క వెలాసిటీతో ట్రావెల్ చేస్తాయి. లైట్ యొక్క వెలాసిటీ వచ్చి 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So by using the second importance, we can say the third importance is light is also an electromagnetic wave which can move so faster through vacuum. Light wave is also an electromagnetic wave. Which can move faster through vacuum. Nothing but 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So by using this law, we can say that the electricity and magnetism are symmetrical to each other. The electricity and magnetism are symmetrical. So these are the 4 important points on Maxwell's equations. Now we will discuss what is the electromagnetic wave, how it will propagate, what are the sources and physical quantities that were associated to describe the electromagnetic wave motion. Now we are discussing the generation of EM waves. Electromagnetic waves ni ela produce cheyocho manam ippudu telusukuntunnam. To generate the EM waves, we should need a circuit or any oscillating circuit. That means the circuits which are under the oscillations. Oscillations is due to the interference of electric fields and magnetic fields under the sinusoidal variation. This is called as oscillation. So in which circuits these oscillations are possible? The oscillatory circuits are the sources of EM waves. The examples are LC circuit, second one LR circuit, third one CR circuit, fourth one LCR circuit. These circuits we discussed in alternating current, where L and C, they both are oppositely polarized. That's why their phases are cancelled. But L and R, C and R, or LCR, what we can understand is they are maintaining some phase difference. Because of the phase difference is pi by 2 in these circuits. The voltage or current reaches from 0 to maximum and again from maximum to 0, like an oscillation. So always voltage or current varies from maximum to minimum via the mean position. This is said to be oscillation. So those circuit which possess the oscillation by the sinusoidal variation of the electromagnetic fields, they are the sources of electromagnetic waves. These electromagnetic waves first produced by Hertz. Then this technology was adopted to send the signals of radio waves by Marconi. In India, J.C. Bose. These two are the two different scientists. They born in different parts. J.C. Bose from India and Marconi from Italy. They have propagated these EM waves to some 10 or some 1 millimeter to the 20 millimeters of the distance to send an information, nothing but the starting or initial stages of the radio wave communication. So like that, once a wave is produced, we can send it to the long distances. This was proved by Marconi and J.C. Bose. Like this, we can say the generation of EM waves. ఏ సర్క్యూట్స్ అయితే ఆసిలేట్ అవుతున్నాయో ఆ సర్క్యూట్స్ ఈఎం వేవ్స్ని ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తాయి. హెడ్జ్ అనే సైంటిస్ట్ ఫస్ట్ ఈఎం వేవ్స్ని ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేశాడు. ఈ ప్రొడ్యూస్ అయిన ఈఎం వేవ్స్ రేడియో వేవ్స్గా కన్వర్ట్ అయ్యి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ని వన్ ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఇంకో ప్లేస్కి క్యారీ చేస్తాయి. దీన్ని ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ ఆఫ్ ఈఎం వేవ్స్ అంటారు. సో ఈ ప్రాసెస్ని మార్కోని, జేసీ బోస్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్గా కంప్లీట్ చేశారు. The next concept is electromagnetic spectrum. Spectrum is nothing but the order of colors. But electromagnetic spectrum is different. It is not the order of colors, but the arrangement of the colors on the basis of their wavelengths and frequency. So, in electromagnetic spectrum, after the production of electromagnetic waves, these waves are generally classified into many types on the basis of their wavelength or frequency. This classification was arranged in an order, in increasing order of the wavelength, that is called as electromagnetic spectrum. That means the orderly arrangement of electromagnetic waves on the basis of their wavelengths or frequencies is called electromagnetic spectrum. That means the electromagnetic waves were classified or written in an order, in the order of increasing wavelength or increasing frequencies on the basis of their wavelengths. So that is said to be electromagnetic spectrum. This electromagnetic spectrum contains two parts. One is invisible spectrum, second one is visible spectrum. Invisible spectrum or visible spectrum is classified. These are the parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, and this classification is on the basis of visibility of human beings. Because some colors and some waves are not visible, invisible to the human beings, but those are visible to the different animals. So on the basis of visibility of the human beings means a human being can observe some waves and he cannot observe some. So this observed and cannot observed are divided into invisible and visible, but these two are under the parts of electromagnetic spectrum only. So how they are treated as invisible and visible, what is the basis of that? It is nothing but the simple wavelength. So what are the wavelengths of these colors, how they can be used? Now we will see the wavelengths of the visible spectrum. Visible spectrum is nothing but the order of visible colors in a visible light. Those are from violet to red. So, Vibgyor, it is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. These 7 colors are orderly arranged on the basis of their wavelengths. Now, what are their wavelengths? Violet color's wavelength is 4000 angstrom to 4300 angstrom. Indigo color's wavelength is 4300 angstroms to 4500 angstroms. Blue color's wavelength is 4500 angstroms to 5000 angstroms. Green color's wavelength is 5000 angstroms to 5700 angstroms. Yellow color's wavelength is 5700 angstrom to 5900 angstrom. The wavelength of the orange color is 5900 angstrom to 6200 angstrom. The last color, and which has the highest wavelength in the visible spectrum, that is red color, its wavelength is 6200 angstrom to 8000 angstrom. Here angstrom is the SI unit of wavelength of any color. So angstrom is SI unit of wavelength. Of radiation. One angstrom is equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. So this violet to red orderly arranged colors are said to be visible light or visible spectrum. వైలెట్ నుండి రెడ్ వరకు ఉన్న ఈ కలర్స్ అరేంజ్మెంట్ని విజిబుల్ లైట్ అంటారు లేదా విజిబుల్ స్పెక్ట్రమ్ అంటారు. దీని యొక్క వేవ్ లెన్స్ 4000 యాంగ్స్ట్రామ్స్ నుండి 8000 యాంగ్స్ట్రామ్స్ వరకు రేంజ్ అయి ఉంటాయి. దిస్ 4000 యాంగ్స్ట్రామ్స్ టు 8000 యాంగ్స్ట్రామ్స్ ఈజ్ సెడ్ టు బి వేవ్ లెంత్ ఆఫ్ ద విజిబుల్ లైట్. 4000 angstroms to 8000 angstroms is said to be wavelength of visible light. But where is the invisible radiation? The radiation which is just above the violet color and after the red color are said to be invisible radiations. Violet color కన్నా ముందున్న రేడియేషన్స్, రెడ్ కలర్ తర్వాత ఉన్న రేడియేషన్స్ని ఇన్విజిబుల్ రేడియేషన్స్ అంటారు. Now we are discussing the propagation of EM waves. So how these waves are produced? According to the Maxwell's equation, time varying magnetic field is producing the electric field and vice versa, nothing but time varying electric fields producing the magnetic fields. Time varying magnetic fields produces the electric fields and time varying electric fields produces the magnetic field. That means within a given time, if electric field is changing, it produces the magnetic field. If magnetic field is changing, it produces the electric field. That means these two will dominate, trying to dominate each other with respect to the variation with respect to the time. So it creates an electromagnetic disturbance with respect to the variation in the time. So it creates an electromagnetic disturbance with respect to time. Like that, this disturbance will be created or formed like a loop or a wave formation. Both are right angles to each other, such like this. So, time varying electric field and time varying magnetic field both are right angles to each other. So, like this, the right angles we can show with arrow marks. So here also we can draw the arrow marks. So electric field is under the sinusoidal variation with respect to time. Magnetic field is also under the sinusoidal variation with respect to time. So what is this electromagnetic wave? This electromagnetic disturbance sinusoidally varying with respect to time in and right angles to each other, and at the same time these right angles to the propagation of the wave also. The electromagnetic disturbance which is sinusoidally varying with respect to time and right angles to each other comma right angles to the propagation of wave. This is the clear definition of electromagnetic wave. Now we will see what are the important features of these electromagnetic waves and formulas associated with this. So the properties of EM waves. First one, source of EMs. Which materials are the sources of electromagnetic waves? So the materials are the devices which were acting as oscillatory circuits or accelerated charged particles. Those are the sources of EM waves. So accelerated charged particles comma oscillating circuits are the sources of electromagnetic waves. Oscillating circuits means LR, LCR, CR circuits. So LCR, LR, CR circuits. Because it contains inductance resistance or inductance capacitance or capacitance resistance, so they both are opposite in phase with respect to each other. Because of this opposite phase, they will cancel each other and maybe overlapped on each other. It creates a disturbance in the wave propagation. Such like this, we can say the wave pattern of the electromagnetic waves. These electromagnetic waves are not charged particles. That's why they won't be deflected or they won't be attracted towards the electric and magnetic fields. So, these waves are uncharged. So, they won't show any response towards the electric and magnetic fields. That means without any penetration or without any deviation, these electromagnetic waves can pass through the electric and magnetic fields. So, the third property or third important property of the electromagnetic waves is these electromagnetic waves doesn't require any medium to propagate. So, they doesn't require any medium to propagate. That means no medium is required to propagate the electromagnetic waves. That means these waves can travel through the vacuum also. They can travel through vacuum also. But with how much velocity it will travel? So, to find out the speed of the electromagnetic waves through vacuum, we should go to the electromagnetic analogues. E to B analog, nothing but the similarities. The constant in the electrostatics is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The constant in the magnetic fields is mu naught by 4 pi. So, what we can say from this? Let me write E naught by B naught. That is equal to, what is E naught? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. B naught, mu naught by 4 pi. So, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 4 pi by mu naught. This 4 pi gets cancelled. 1 by mu naught epsilon naught. So, what is this E naught by B naught? C. So, under the some conditions, we can write speed of light is equal to 1 by square root of mu naught epsilon naught. So, this is the way to find out the speed of light or speed of the electromagnetic waves in vacuum. So, it is equal to the speed of light. That is one of the property. And these electromagnetic waves are transverse in nature. The EM waves are transverse in nature. This is also one of the important property of the electromagnetic waves. What about the energy of the electromagnetic wave? The electromagnetic waves has energy which is equally partitioned, means the total energy of an electromagnetic wave is equal to the energy due to the electric field plus energy due to the magnetic field. So, it is sum of the electric field energy to the magnetic field energy. Now we will discuss how this energy is partitioned among the electromagnetic wave. So we should find out the average energy density of the electromagnetic waves. Average, it is not the total. Suppose if you take any electromagnetic wave, it is a combination of static electric field and static magnetic field. So the energy of an electromagnetic wave or energy density of the electromagnetic wave is also equal to the sum of energy of the static electric field and static magnetic field. So whenever it is in static mode, we can say that it contains potential energy. So the energy of an EM wave is equal to sum of energy due to static electric field and static magnetic field, where EF is electric field, MF is magnetic field. So energy symbol is U. We are using potential energy symbol because it is the static fields. So UE plus UB. We know that UE is equal to half epsilon naught E square, comma UB is equal to half B square by mu naught. Now I am substituting this UE and UB values in this first equation. So therefore U is equal to half epsilon naught E square plus half B square by mu naught. This is the total energy. What about the average energy? Average energy will be found out by choosing the RMS values of the electric and magnetic fields. So ERMS is equal to E naught by root 2, comma BRMS is equal to B naught by root 2. Why we are choosing the RMS values? RMS values are the average values of the electric and magnetic fields. If you are finding the average energy density, we should use the RMS values. That is the connectivity between these two conditions to the title. So I am substituting these values. U is equal to half epsilon naught into ERMS square plus half BRMS square by mu naught. So ERMS is equal to E naught by root 2, BRMS is equal to B naught by root 2. We are substituting. Therefore U is equal to half epsilon naught into ERMS is E naught by root 2 whole square plus half BRMS is equal to B naught by root 2 whole square by mu naught. Therefore it is half epsilon naught into E naught square by 2 plus half B naught square by 2 mu naught. Therefore it is 1 by 4 epsilon naught E naught square plus 1 by 4 B naught square by mu naught. If you see this equation, now I am taking this electric field energy equation. In that we can write E naught is equal to B naught C, comma C is equal to 1 by square root of mu naught epsilon naught. I am substituting this E naught and C values in this first part of the equation. So here we can write this one as U is equal to UE plus UB. So I am taking UE is equal to 1 by 4 epsilon naught E naught square. So E naught is equal to B naught C. I am substituting. So UE is equal to 1 by 4 epsilon naught into B naught C whole square. So this will be 1 by 4 epsilon naught B naught square C square. C is equal to 1 by square root of mu naught epsilon naught. So C square is equal to 1 by mu naught epsilon naught. I am substituting this C square value in this equation. Therefore, UE is equal to 1 by 4 into epsilon naught B naught square into C square is 1 by mu naught epsilon naught. This epsilon naught gets cancelled, and we will get 1 by 4 B naught square by mu naught. We started with UE, means energy due to the electric field. We got the expression of UB. That is nothing but the second half of the equation. So UE is equal to UB. So if UE is equal to UB, in average energy density of the electromagnetic waves, electric field and magnetic field will contribute exactly half to each other. That means average energy density is equal to UE plus UB. We can write UE plus UE or UB plus UB. So average energy density is equal to 2UE or 2UB. So the contribution of electric field and magnetic field are equal. The contribution of electric field and magnetic field are equal to each other. So like this, the total or average energy density is twice of the energy due to the static electric field or twice of the energy due to the static magnetic field. Like that, we can find out the average energy density of electromagnetic waves. This is a numerical which is based on the electromagnetic energy density. In an electromagnetic wave, E is equal to 100 volts per minute, volts per meter. Find the value of B, H and energy density. So the first one, E by B is equal to C. So we should find out B is equal to E by C. E is equal to 100. C is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So this 3 in 100, 33.3 times. So 33.3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 Tesla, or we can write 3.33 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla. This is the B value for the given E value. See the second bit. H. H is equal to B by mu naught, because B is equal to mu naught H. We have discussed this one in magnetism. So H value is, B is 3.33 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. 10 power minus 7, 10 power minus 7 cancels. So it will be 3.33 by 4 into 3.14. So we will get 0.265 amperes per meter. This is the second bit. So the third bit is energy density. Energy density is U is equal to half epsilon naught E square The average energy density is 2 UE, therefore it is 2 into half into epsilon naught E square, 2 and half gets cancelled. Therefore U is equal to epsilon naught E square, where epsilon naught is equal to 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12, where E is equal to 100. So it is 100 square. So 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into this 100 is 10 square, 10 square whole square 10 power 4. So we can write 8.85 into 10 power 4 into 10 power minus 12, 10 power minus 8 joule per meter cube, because energy per unit volume, joule per meter cube is the unit. So like this we can find out the physical quantities that are related to the energy density of the electromagnetic wave. The next concept is intensity of electromagnetic waves. What is the meaning of intensity? Consider a plane like this. Which has area of cross section A. Through this plane, an electromagnetic wave is moving perpendicular or transmitting perpendicular to this plane. This electromagnetic wave has some energy, and this wave is moving with a velocity c in the medium which is perpendicular to the plane, and the distance traveled by this wave is a into c into delta t, because the wave is crossing the borders of this plane in delta t time. That means time taken from here to here is delta t. So what we can understand, area of the medium is A, distance traveled by the wave is by the wave in the medium is c into delta t, and one more thing, speed of light is equal to c. The amount of energy crossing per unit area in unit time through a plane which is perpendicular to the propagation of EM waves is called intensity of the electromagnetic waves. So the definition is the amount of energy or energy density crossing per unit area in unit time through a plane which is perpendicular to the propagation of EM wave. That is called intensity of the electromagnetic wave. This is called as intensity of EM wave. It is denoted by I. We know that U average is equal to U by volume. So U is equal to U average into volume. So it is U average into, what is the volume? Area into length, we can write like that. Here the area is A, the length or the distance traveled by the wave is C delta T. So we can write this one as AC delta T. This is U. But the energy crossing per unit time through area of cross section. That is said to be intensity. Therefore, intensity is equal to U by A delta T. So, I is equal to, what is U? U average into AC delta T by A delta T. So, A delta T gets cancelled. We will get U average into C is equal to intensity. So, we got intensity is equal to average energy into C. The expression of the average energy is half epsilon naught E naught square into C. We can write E naught is equal to E RMS into root 2. Now I am substituting E naught is equal to E RMS into root 2. Therefore, I is equal to half epsilon naught E RMS root 2 whole square into C. So, half into epsilon naught into E RMS square into 2 into C, because root 2 whole square is 2. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Therefore, intensity is equal to epsilon naught E square RMS into C. This is one of the expression to find out the intensity of the electromagnetic wave with the help of static electric field. Then what about the static magnetic field? Again, I is equal to U average into C. U average is B naught square by 2 mu naught into C. So, what is this B naught? B RMS into root 2. So, I am substituting I is equal to B RMS into root 2 whole square by 2 mu naught into C. Therefore, it is B RMS square into 2 by 2 mu naught into C. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Therefore, I is equal to B square, nothing but B RMS square by mu naught into C. So, if you want to find out the intensity of the electromagnetic waves, we can use either of any equation. The equation which relates to the electric field, nothing but E naught C into E square RMS or B square RMS by mu naught into C. By using any one of this equation, we can find out the intensity of electromagnetic wave. This is the numerical which is based on the concept of intensity. Calculate the peak values of electric and magnetic fields produced by the radiation coming from a 100 watt bulb at a distance of 3 meters. Assume that the efficiency of the bulb is 2.5% and it is a point source. Let us suppose a bulb which is acting as a point source like this. It emits the light to all direction. So, at a distance of 3 meters, it creates like a spherical surface. That is the clue to solve this numerical. So, what is the area of the sphere? Or we can write area of the spherical surface. Four pi r square. Therefore, A is equal to 4 into pi is 3.14 into what is r, radius 3 meters, 3 square. So, the answer is 113 meters square. This is the area. What is the useful intensity? %2.5% of the wattage of the bulb. That means the formula is 2.5% into 100 by area. So it is 2.5 by 100 into 100 by 113 meter square. So this will be 2.5 by 113. The answer is 0.022 watts per meter square. This is the useful intensity. Half of the intensity is produced by the electric field, half of the intensity is produced by the magnetic field at the peak values. So we should find out the half of the maximum intensity, that is nothing but I by 2. Therefore it is half into half epsilon naught E naught square C. This will be 1 by 4 epsilon naught E naught square C is equal to I by 2. So if you want to cross multiply, this is 4I by 2 is equal to epsilon naught E naught square C. This 2 4 2 times. So E naught square is equal to 2I by C epsilon naught. E naught is equal to square root of 2I by C epsilon naught. So if you substitute all these values, we will get the equation like this. So E naught is equal to square root of 2 into useful intensity is 0.022 by C value is 3 into 10 to the power of 8. Epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. So E naught is equal to, after simplifying all these values which were under the root, we will get 4.08 volts per meter. So B naught value is E naught by C. This E naught is nothing but the maximum electric field, peak values of the electric field. B naught is equal to E naught by C. Therefore E naught is 4.08 by C values is 3 into 10 to the power of 8. So finally we will get 1.36 into 10 to the power of minus 8 Tesla. So such like this, we can find out the peak values of electric and magnetic fields under these limits of the dimensions. So the next concept is momentum of electromagnetic wave. Let us suppose a source of light is there or a source of electromagnetic wave is there. It is imparting an electromagnetic wave to the surface where it is placed. So when it is placed, it is imparting the electromagnetic wave, and this electromagnetic wave will produce a linear momentum on the surface where it is collided. So linear momentum is equal to P, that is equal to energy by speed of light. So P is equal to, energy is U, nothing but the potential energy, speed of light is C. So this P is equal to U by C is for complete absorption. Suppose if these electromagnetic waves collided on a surface, if it is reflected back, that means the energy which is reflected back and the incident energy and the reflected energy will meet at one point of its traveling path, then its energy will become twice of the original. So that means this equation will change like this. So for complete reflection, P is equal to U incident plus U reflection by C. Both are equal. That's why it is, if UA is equal to UR, you can write 2U by C. This is the linear momentum imparted by an electromagnetic wave. The next concept is radiation pressure. This radiation will experience, or it shares the pressure to the surface. So this radiation pressure RP, R small p, is equal to intensity by speed of light. So intensity is I, speed of light is c. So this is the equation for the radiation pressure. These all are the physical quantities that were associated with the electromagnetic wave propagation. So as I told already, the colors are the radiations just before the violet and after the red are under the invisible radiation category. So just before the violet, a radiation is there, it is ultraviolet. Its wavelength is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 meters to 4 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meters. Before the ultraviolet, X-rays, one of the radiation which has changed the phase of the medical field, discovered by the great William Röntgen. So first Nobel laureate in physics. So X-rays, their wavelength is 1 into 10 to the power of 10 to 3 into 10 to the power of minus 8 meters. Just before the X-rays, gamma rays. So these gamma rays, it has the wavelength 6 into 10 to the power of minus 13 meters to 1 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. These X-rays, ultraviolet and gamma rays are not visible, invisible to the human beings. So after the red also, there are some invisible radiations. What are those? After the red, we have infrared. Infrared radiation. So for the infrared radiation, its wavelength is 8 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meters to 3 into 10 to the power of minus 5 meters. After the infrared, microwaves. Microwaves, 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meters to 3 into 10 to the power of minus 1 meters wavelength. After the microwaves, we have radio waves. The radio waves has the wavelength 0.32. 0.3 is nothing but 3 into 10 to the power of minus 1. 6 into 10 to the power of 2. So, the total wavelength range of an electromagnetic radiation spectrum is 6 into 10 to the power of minus 13 meters to 6 into 10 to the power of 2 meters. In that, only violet to red is visible. This gamma, X-ray and ultra is invisible, and infrared, micro, radio are also invisible. Violet ki mundu unnatuvanti gamma, X-ray, ultraviolet radiations యొక్క wavelengths 6 into 10 to the power of minus 13 నుండి 4 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meters వరకు రేంజ్ అయి ఉంటాయి. ఇవి ఇన్విజిబుల్ రేడియేషన్లో ఉంటాయి. రెడ్ తర్వాత వచ్చే ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్, మైక్రోవేవ్స్, రేడియో వేవ్స్ ఈ మూడు కూడా 8 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meters నుంచి 6 into 10 to the power of 2 meters, నథింగ్ బట్ 600 meters రేంజ్ వరకు ఎక్స్పాండ్ అయి ఉంటాయి. ఈ మూడు కలర్స్ కూడా ఇన్విజిబుల్ రేడియేషన్లో ఉంది. This total, nothing but gamma rays to radio waves is said to be EM spectrum. Now we will discuss the uses of each radiated wave and their production. Now we are discussing the uses of EM spectrum. EM spectrum contains invisible light as well as visible light. So we will start from the invisible radiation. The first one is gamma rays. This is the symbol of gamma. Gamma rays usually obtained, and the source of the gamma rays is nuclear radiations. Suppose in any atom gone through any nuclear reaction, the radiations which were emitted from the nuclei of those atoms are nothing but the gamma rays. So the origin of the gamma rays is nuclei or nuclear reactions. న్యూక్లియర్ రియాక్షన్స్లో గామా రేస్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ అవుతాయి. ఒక ఆటమ్ న్యూక్లియర్ రియాక్షన్స్లో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేసిన లేదా ఆటమ్ యొక్క న్యూక్లియస్ స్ప్లిట్ అయినా లేకపోతే కంబైన్ అయినా ఈ గామా రేస్ రిలీజ్ అవుతాయి. దిస్ ఫినామినన్ వాజ్ డిస్కవర్డ్ బై రూదర్ఫర్డ్. Its wavelength is 6 into 10 to the power of minus 13 meters to 1 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. This is the wavelength of the gamma rays. What are the means? The origin is nuclear reactions discovered by great scientist Rutherford. Wavelength is this much range, and these gamma rays are highly penetrated rays. They have the capacity of high penetration power. So because of this highly penetrating capacity, these gamma rays can pass through all bodies, all human bodies or all metallic bodies, and they cannot be stopped by the metallic bodies or the human bodies. They can pass through it without any obstacle, and they have the highly penetration power. They cannot be deflected by electric fields or magnetic field. They can't be deflected by electric field and magnetic fields. So because these are neutrally charged particles, that's why they cannot be deflected by electric or magnetic fields. So these are all the different properties and the introduction about these gamma rays. What are the uses of the gamma rays? Because of its high penetration power, gamma rays are useful to treat or kill the cancer cells. To kill the cancer cells. But when gamma rays are useful to treat the cancer cell treatment or to kill the cancer cells. Because of their high penetration power, we can say that they can pass through the healthy cells also. So this leads to the damage of healthy cells. It is more severe effect. And these gamma rays were useful to detect the metal flaws. And these gamma rays were useful to combine the nucleus or to split the nucleus. So they are used to produce the nuclear reaction. Useful to produce nuclear reactions. So like this we can define the gamma rays and their properties and uses. Gamma rays ni cancer cells ni kill cheyadaniki use chestaru. Kani gamma rays ki high penetrating power undatam valla cancer cells ni treat చేసేటప్పుడు అవి healthy cells నుంచి కూడా పాస్ అవుతాయి. సో దానివల్ల హెల్దీ సెల్స్ కూడా డ్యామేజ్ అవుతాయి. దట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద సివియర్ ఎఫెక్ట్ బై హజార్డ్స్ ఆఫ్ ది గామా రేస్ ట్రీట్మెంట్. ఈ గామా రేస్ని మెటల్ ఫ్లాస్ని డిటెక్ట్ చేయడానికి యూజ్ చేస్తారు. న్యూక్లియర్ రియాక్షన్స్ని ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడానికి కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తారు. దీన్ని డిస్కవర్ చేసింది రూదర్ఫోర్డ్. దీని వేవ్ లెంత్ 6 into 10 to the power of minus 13 to 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. Next we will discuss the same analysis of X-rays. The next one we should discuss is X-rays. These X-rays first detected by William Röntgen in 1895. He has placed some radioactive materials, and these materials can pass through, they are passing through the photographic film and they are reacting with the photographic film, and the spot where that materials was placed, that spot become the full whitish. So it is creating a lot of pictures of the different bodies which are next to the film. So he has said that these are X-rays. So these X-rays were detected by Mr. William Röntgen. So for this discovery he was the first Nobel laureate. Next, these X-rays cannot be deflected by the EM fields. And the another property of the X-rays, these are also can pass through the human body, but they can affect the damage of the different cells. When these X-rays are passing through the different materials, the materials can be ionized. So these can ionize the materials through where it is passing. So what are the uses of X-rays? First one, it can picturize the internal organs of the body. So picturize the internal organs of the body. Second one, it is useful to kill the tumors of the body. Third one, it is useful to find out the metal castings and explosives and contraband goods. Useful to detect the metal flaws or metal castings, explosives, and contraband goods. లో విలియం రాంట్జన్ ఈ ఎక్స్రేస్ని డిటెక్ట్ చేశాడు. సో కొన్ని మెటీరియల్స్ని ఫోటోగ్రాఫిక్ ఫిల్మ్కి దగ్గరలో అతను ప్లేస్ చేసి ఒక నైట్ అంతా యాక్సిడెంటల్గా ఉంచినప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ డేకి ఆ ఫోటోగ్రాఫిక్ ఫిల్మ్ డ్యామేజ్ అయింది, వైట్ కోట్ వచ్చేసింది. సో హీ నేమ్డ్ దట్ దోస్ రేస్ విచ్ ఆర్ కమింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ దోస్ మెటీరియల్స్ ఆర్ ఎక్స్రేస్. సో దే కెనాట్ బి డిఫ్లెక్టెడ్ బై EM ఫీల్డ్స్. EM ఫీల్డ్స్తో డిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవ్వవు. సో ఈ ఎక్స్రేస్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ అవుతుందంటే ఇంటర్నల్ ఆర్గాన్స్ యొక్క పిక్చర్స్ని బయట తీసుకురావడానికి ఎక్స్రేస్ యూజ్ అవుతాయి. సో వెన్ ఎవర్ ఎనీవన్ మెట్ విత్ అన్ యాక్సిడెంట్, ఎనీ ఇంజురీస్, సో ద డ్యామేజ్డ్ పార్ట్ ఈజ్ ఎక్స్పోజ్డ్ టు ద ఎక్స్రేస్, ఇట్ విల్ గివ్ ద పిక్చర్ ఆఫ్ ద డ్యామేజ్డ్ పార్ట్, నథింగ్ బట్ ద ఇంటర్నల్ ఆర్గాన్. సో ఎక్స్రేస్ ఇంటర్నల్ బాడీ యొక్క ఆర్గాన్స్ పిక్చర్ చేయడానికి యూజ్ అవుతాయి. ట్యూమర్స్ ఆఫ్ ద బాడీ అంటే గాయాలు తగ్గించడానికి యూజ్ అవుతాయి. తర్వాత మెటల్ ఓర్, ఎక్కడైనా మైనింగ్లో ఏ మెటల్ ఉందో తెలుసుకోవడానికి. ఎక్స్ప్లోజివ్స్ ఉన్నాయో తెలుసుకోవడానికి, కాంట్రాబ్యాండ్ గూడ్స్ని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయడానికి ఈ ఎక్స్రేస్ యూజ్ అవుతాయి. ఎక్స్రేస్, ద వేవ్ లెంత్ ఆఫ్ ద ఎక్స్రేస్ ఈజ్ 1 × 10⁻⁻10 meters to 3 × 10⁻⁻8 meters. So these were the uses and properties of the X-rays. The next one we are discussing is UV rays. In other form, the expanded form of UV is ultraviolet rays. So what is this ultraviolet rays? This was detected and discovered by Ritter in 1801. The sources of the ultraviolet rays are carbon discharge tubes, arc lamps, hot bodies like sun. So discharge tubes, carbon arc lamps, hot bodies and sun are the sources of UV rays. Among all these, sun is producing a large amount of the UV radiation. Most of that UV radiation is absorbed by the ozone layer. Sun produces maximum UV radiation. Its wavelength order is 3 × 10⁻⁻8 meters to 4 × 10⁻⁻7 meters. What are the properties of these UV rays? Whenever these UV rays fall on metal objects, it causes to the emission of electrons, and this emission of electrons can cause for the fluorescent property of the metals, because most of the metals exhibits the fluorescence property when these UV radiations are collided with the metal surface. So because of that, it causes to ionization also, means removal of the electron from the metallized surface is nothing but the ionization. So what we can understand is UV rays fall on metal surface cause to emit the electrons and leads to the ionization. This is one of the property of the UV rays. What are the uses of the UV rays? These UV rays can destroy the bacteria and clean the surgical utensils, sterilize the surgical utensils. UV rays can destroy the bacteria, and these UV rays can sterilize the surgical utensils. Third one, this UV radiation was useful under mining, because if these UV rays were radiated towards the mining area, most of the metals exhibits the fluorescence property or fluorescence behavior under the exposure of UV rays. So by observing this fluorescence property, then they can confirm about the mining at that place, so they can mine or not. So this is useful for find the mines. and property of the mining materials. And one more, they are used to study the molecular structures. అల్ట్రావైలెట్ రేస్ని రిట్టర్ అనే సైంటిస్ట్ 1801లో కనుక్కున్నాడు. వాట్ ఆర్ ద సోర్స్? దీని యొక్క సోర్సెస్ ఏంటంటే డిశ్చార్జ్ ట్యూబ్, కార్బన్ ఆర్క్ ల్యాంప్స్, హై టెంపరేచర్ హాట్ బాడీస్ అండ్ సన్ సోర్సెస్. ఇందులో సన్ మ్యాక్సిమం యూవీ రేడియేషన్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తుంది. ఆ మ్యాక్సిమం ఓజోన్ లేయర్ అబ్జార్బ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. వేవ్ లెంత్ ఆఫ్ యూవీ రేస్ యొక్క వేవ్ లెంత్ 3 × 10⁻⁸ మీటర్స్ నుండి 4 × 10⁻⁷ మీటర్స్ వరకు ఉంటాయి. యూవీ రేస్ మెటల్ సర్ఫేసెస్ మీద ఇన్సిడెంట్ అయినప్పుడు ఆ మెటల్ సర్ఫేసెస్ నుంచి ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఎమిట్ అవుతాయి. ఈ ఎమిషన్ ఫోటో ఎలక్ట్రిక్ ఎఫెక్ట్కి మరలా అయనైజేషన్కి కారణమవుతుంది. యూజెస్ ఆఫ్ అల్ట్రావైలెట్ రేస్కి వచ్చేసరికి వాటర్ ట్రీట్మెంట్, వాటర్లో ఉన్న బ్యాక్టీరియాని డిస్ట్రాయ్ చేయడానికి యూవీ రేస్ని యూజ్ చేస్తారు. దట్స్ వై మినరల్ వాటర్ బాటిల్స్ మీద మనం యూవీ ట్రీటెడ్ వాటర్ అని చూస్తున్నాం. సో యూవీ రేస్ కెన్ డిస్ట్రాయ్ ది బ్యాక్టీరియా. యూవీ రేస్ సర్జికల్ యుటెన్సిల్స్, హాస్పిటల్స్లో సర్జరీ చేయడానికి వాడే ప్రతి యుటెన్సిల్స్ని స్టెరిలైజ్ చేయడానికి యూజ్ చేస్తారు. మైనింగ్స్ దగ్గర ఏ మెటల్ అయితే ఆ మైనింగ్లో కావాలో ఆ మెటల్ ఉందో లేదో ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయడానికి యూవీ రేడియేషన్ యూజ్ అవుతుంది. ఎందుకంటే యూవీ రేడియేషన్ ఆ మైనింగ్ మీద పడినప్పుడు ఒకవేళ అక్కడ ఒక మెటల్ ఉంటే ఆ మెటల్స్, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద మెటల్స్ ఫ్లోరోసెన్స్ ప్రాపర్టీని ఎగ్జిబిట్ చేస్తాయి. ఫ్లోరోసెన్స్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఎగ్జిబిట్ కాలేదంటే అక్కడ మైనింగ్కి పాసిబుల్ లేనట్టు. తర్వాత ఇంటర్మాలిక్యులర్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ని స్టడీ చేయడానికి కూడా యూవీ రేస్ యూజ్ అవుతాయి. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ విజిబుల్ లైట్. Visible light is one of the part of electromagnetic spectrum. Its wavelength range is 4 × 10⁻⁷ meters to 8 × 10⁻⁷ meters. In other words, 4000 angstrom to 8000 angstroms. So human eye has the sensitivity to observe the visible light radiation in the electromagnetic part. Not only human eye, photographic cells and different arc lamp, different discharge tubes and different photographic luminescent objects, they have the ability and sensitivity to observe this visible light. So this visible light is produced due to the transition of electrons in the atomic levels. Transition of electrons in atomic levels. సో ఇలా విజిబుల్ లైట్ని మనం డిఫైన్ చేయొచ్చు. విజిబుల్ లైట్ ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నెటిక్ స్పెక్ట్రంలో ఒక చిన్న పార్ట్. అది వైలెట్ నుండి రెడ్ వరకు ఎక్స్పాండ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. వైలెట్ టు రెడ్ని విజిబుల్ లైట్ అంటాం. దీని యొక్క వేవ్ లెంత్ 4 × 10⁻⁷ నుంచి 8 × 10⁻⁷ మీటర్స్కి ఎక్స్పాండ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ 1 అటామిక్ లెవెల్ నుంచి ఇంకో అటామిక్ లెవెల్కి జంప్ అయినప్పుడు, ఎగ్జైట్ అయినప్పుడు లేదా డీఎగ్జైట్ అయినప్పుడు ఈ విజిబుల్ లైట్ అనేది ప్రొడ్యూస్ అవుతుంది. ఈ విజిబుల్ లైట్ని హ్యూమన్ ఐ, ఫోటోగ్రాఫిక్ సెల్స్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేసుకుంటాయి ఆర్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేయగలవు. ద నెక్స్ట్ వన్ టు బి డిస్కస్డ్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్. These infrared rays are produced by hot bodies because these are hot waves. So hot bodies are the sources of infrared rays. Are the sources of infrared rays. Suppose if you observe a blacksmith who is doing the different, who is polishing the or manufacturing the metal objects at the roadside or in a given furnace, that the portion which was placed on the furnace becomes red, and after that it is highly thick red, which is invisible for human beings also sometimes. That is infrared radiation. So hot bodies are the sources of infrared rays. So the best example is sun. Sun can emit the lot of infrared radiation. So most of this infrared radiation that is coming out of the sun absorbed by the earth. What are the properties of infrared rays? When these infrared rays are fall on to a metal plate or fall on to an object, it can raises the temperature of the object. They fall on objects, the temperature of objects will rise. So these infrared rays are less scattered fine particles. So not like visible light, because it has longer wavelength. Because of this property, these infrared rays are useful in haze photography. Useful in haze photography because of less scattering. What is the reason for this less scattering? Due to long wavelength. What are the another uses of the infrared light rays? These infrared rays are useful in cooking, drying, heating. These infrared rays are used by the Earth satellites, nothing but the Earth sourced satellites, to detect the healthy crops. Used by Earth sourced satellites to detect healthy crops. These infrared rays are used to produce the dehydrated fruits. To produce dehydrated fruits. And these infrared rays are useful to treat the muscular pains. ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ హాట్ బాడీస్ నుంచి ఎజెక్ట్ అవుతాయి. సో హాట్ బాడీస్ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేడియో యొక్క సోర్సెస్ అంటారు. బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ సన్ ఎక్కువ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ని ఎమిట్ చేస్తుంది, అందులో ఎర్త్ ఎక్కువ అబ్జార్బ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. ఈ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ ఏదైనా ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ పైన ఇన్సిడెంట్ అయితే ఆ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ యొక్క టెంపరేచర్ విత్ ఇన్ షార్ట్ ఇంటర్వెల్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో ఎక్కువ రేంజ్కి పెరిగిపోతుంది. ఒక ఫోటోగ్రాఫిక్ ఫిల్మ్పై ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ ఫోకస్ చేస్తే ఫోటోగ్రాఫిక్ ఫిల్మ్ బర్న్ అయిపోతుంది కూడా. వాట్ ఆర్ ద యూజెస్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్? ఈ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ హేజ్ ఫోటోగ్రఫీలో యూజ్ చేస్తారు, బికాజ్ ఇవి స్కాటరింగ్ లెస్ ఉంటాయి. కుకింగ్, డ్రైయింగ్, క్లీనింగ్, హీటింగ్లో కూడా ఈ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ని యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ఈ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ని ఎర్త్ సోర్స్డ్ శాటిలైట్స్ అంటే జియో స్టేషనరీ శాటిలైట్స్లో యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ఈ జియో స్టేషనరీ శాటిలైట్స్ హెల్దీ క్రాప్స్ని డిటెక్ట్ చేయడానికి యూజ్ అవుతాయి. డీహైడ్రేటెడ్ ఫ్రూట్స్ని ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడానికి ఈ ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ యూజ్ చేస్తారు. మస్క్యులర్ పెయిన్స్ని ట్రీట్ చేయడానికి కూడా ఇన్ఫ్రారెడ్ రేస్ యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ద నెక్స్ట్ వన్ టు స్టడీ ఈజ్ మైక్రోవేవ్స్. Microwaves are produced by oscillatory circuits that contains inductor and capacitance. So the sources are LC circuits or all oscillatory circuits. So this is the source of microwaves. What are the properties of the microwaves? These microwaves are very short wavelength, and because of the short wavelength they can be useful for different purposes. What are the purposes of, or what are the uses of these microwaves? First one, these microwaves are useful in radar communication. Radar means radio amplification, detection and ranging. They will send a microwave and it can detect the change in the atmosphere at a particular distance from the released station, and it sends the information back. Like that, that scientists can analyze the distance of the cyclone present from that point. Second one, these microwaves can reduce the time of cooking. That's why these are useful in microwave oven. Third one, these are useful to study the intermolecular structure. ఆసిలేటరీ సర్క్యూట్స్ అనేటువంటి ఎల్ఆర్, ఎల్సి, సిఆర్ ఏవైతే ఇండక్టర్స్ని, కెపాసిటెన్స్ని కలిగి ఉంటాయో ఆ సర్క్యూట్స్ మైక్రోవేవ్స్ యొక్క సోర్సెస్. ఈ మైక్రోవేవ్స్ని రాడార్ కమ్యూనికేషన్లో యూజ్ చేస్తారు. రాడార్ కమ్యూనికేషన్స్లో యూజ్ చేసి అట్మాస్ఫియర్లో వచ్చే చేంజెస్ని తెలుసుకుంటారు. మైక్రోవేవ్ ఓవెన్ విచ్ రిడ్యూస్ ది టైమ్ ఆఫ్ కుకింగ్ టైంని తగ్గిస్తుంది మైక్రోవేవ్ ఓవెన్. ఇందులో ఉండే వేవ్స్ మైక్రోవేవ్స్. సో ఇంటర్మాలిక్యులర్ స్ట్రక్చర్ని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయడానికి కూడా మైక్రోవేవ్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ద లాస్ట్ వన్ ఇన్ ద ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నెటిక్ స్పెక్ట్రమ్ ఈజ్ రేడియో వేవ్స్. Radio waves are the longest wavelengths. They have the longest wavelength. The sources of the radio waves are electrically oscillated circuits. So electrical oscillations are the sources of radio waves. These radio waves has the capacity of longest wavelength. That's why they are useful for the telecommunication purpose. That's why the uses of the radio waves is telecommunications. All communicative devices, TV, radio, mobiles, they are all under the radio wave propagatory. But again, these radio waves are classified into three types. The frequencies of radio waves are classified into three types. One is 54 megahertz to 890 megahertz. This frequency of these radio waves are useful for television communication. The next one is 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz, nothing but frequency modulated communication, nothing but FM radio communication. The last one is 300 megahertz to 3000 megahertz. This is for the cellular communication, nothing but the cell phones. So this range is called ultra high frequency. So these radio waves can be transmitted by three ways: frequency modulation, amplitude modulation, mean wave and short wave. So like that we can see the uses properties of radio waves. So in this lesson, we have started with what is the electromagnetic wave, sources of the electromagnetic wave, the terms related to the electromagnetic wave, and after that we have seen the electromagnetic spectrum and the uses of the electromagnetic spectrum. So by this concept, I am finishing this lesson.